So how many times have I brought up the idea of a trade, and then immediately in the next video I realized that I was full of crap? Because it happened again. I think I overrated Dennis Smith a little too much. Also, if I can be honest, you guys had some pretty good points in the comments section about, like, having two really high picks is valuable. So valuable that simply keeping them might be better than trading one of them away for someone else, as the footage froze there for a second. So I think that's, I don't know, maybe I just got a little impatient with Dennis Smith. I mean, if we have these two picks, you know, the Lakers pick could be like number one because they're pretty bad. And then we have our selection, and we're currently one of the worst teams in the NBA. Would it not just be better to hold on to those and just keep Trayvon Duval and let him do his thing? I think that would ultimately be better. And actually, if we can just talk about Duval, as the season started, I was giving him like 12, 13 minutes a game. He's up to around 21 or 22 minutes for this last stretch of the season, because we're at the trade deadline, you gotta remember that. And I think we just gotta see how good he is, man. You know, he's only been here for one season, and when you see his assists when this season is done, because we're gonna be simulating it the entire rest of the year in this video, I mean, he looks pretty good. You know, 75 overall, he's not too far away from Elfrid Payton. Are we still making a trade? Yes. Mario Hezonja is still getting moved because I'm not paying this guy $11 million a season to be Terrence Ross when Terrence Ross is willing to sign for $2 million a season. The Chicago Bulls are one of the better teams in the NBA for some reason. The guy we're taking back in the deal is on a 1 year, so no salary is added. There we go. We got another first round pick. So now we have 3 firsts going into this draft. And maybe that will end up being a trade we make just because of that extra pick. But what happened the rest of the season? We actually kind of won a decent amount of games. I mean, look at all those W's. We were having a lot of losses going into the trade deadline, and then we started winning. Maybe Mario Hezonja was bad luck for us, I don't know. Notice how the Eastern Conference sucks, because the Cavaliers had probably the weirdest season that you could ever have. If we look at just the games played, LeBron played 63 games, so he missed, what, 20 games basically? Kevin Love only played 50, and then if we can get to Kyrie Irving, he only played 51. So, I guess, depending on the timing of all those injuries, I guess it could make sense why they had such a bad season. Trayvon Duval, 7.5 points, 5 assists a game, playing around 20 minutes at 19 years old. I think that's pretty good, and what I like is if you see his percentages at the basket, shooting over 60% at the rim, that's like ridiculously good for a perimeter player. I say we just ride it out with him, man, because, yeah, I wanted to get Dennis Smith, but I also don't think Duval is like that far behind him. I feel like I was thinking about Dennis Smith like he was Markelle Fultz or something, when he's not that at all. So Duval, I don't know, man. I mean, I'm definitely intrigued on where he can go. Sure, the jumper needs to get better, but I mean, I've said it before. If you're a point guard who's not a great shooter, but you're really athletic and you can get to the rim a lot, then you can kind of make it work. We're going to have to work with him on drawing more fouls so he can get to the free throw line more often. But I think next season, dude could be playing maybe even more minutes than he was giving us this year. Now, for the rest of this video, let's just talk about some of the guys who maybe didn't get as much attention throughout the season, just because I was paying attention to Aaron Gordon and Jason Tatum, basically. Biyombo was pretty good, no doubt. But there's a decent chance he will not be our starting center next season, because with this draft coming up, and you're going to see what happens in the lottery here, there are 2 really good centers coming out who could replace Biyombo. Jason Richardson, or Josh Richardson, is our best perimeter defender. Earlier in the season, I had him defend Isaiah Thomas, and he did pretty okay in like the one game that I actually played this year, and his 3-point shooting is pretty cool. So he's good. Evan Fournier put up 12 points, 4 assists, and he was stupid efficient. So that sounds like a fine 6th man to me. I really have no problem with just leaving him on the team. Pascal Siakam, he was cool. He's farther along defensively than he is offensively, although he can hit a mid-range jumper. Now, Marquise Bolden averaged a block a game off the bench, so maybe he can be like a defensive specialist for us, just in our second unit. I mean, Biombo is making $17 million a season right now, and if he's going to want that on his next contract, he's probably not going to be on the team, especially depending on who we draft. Russell Westbrook with like probably his third straight season of averaging a triple-double, because 2K just loves that. Lonzo Ball got all NBA third team, so LeVar Ball might have been right. I think that's like his second season or whatever. Given that the Cavs are out, and because 2K is 2K, these playoffs are going to make no damn sense. The teams that end up in the NBA Finals, like the Rockets and the Bucks. Now Giannis, he was pretty damn good. So it seems like he's taken over the NBA now, however old he is. It's time for the lottery. We are slated for the 3rd pick as well as the 12th. I'm not going to lie to you, I wish we kind of did worse down the stretch. And for the 12th overall pick, there we go. See, now, because it's established that it's the 12th pick, maybe I'd be more willing to trade it, just because, like, you know, if it was like the 3rd pick, well, no, but I don't know, number 12, we'll have to think about that. Do we get the number 4 pick? Yes, we do. So, we're kind of in a weird spot here. There's a chance that we will not have the opportunity to draft a Moses Brown or the other guy that I already forgot. And if that's the case, well, that kind of sucks. Also, why the hell do the Brooklyn Nets have the 2nd overall pick? Is this the basketball gods rewarding them for being bad for so long? But look at this. The freaking Knicks, number 1 overall. New York is going nuts. And then they found out that they got the pick. And then they went even a little more nuts. So what do we do? I don't know, man. 12th pick. Could probably get something decent for that, but at the same time, maybe you trade that for an actual player. I don't want to trade the 4th pick, but maybe we could entertain the idea of moving up in the draft. Speaking of the draft, I have to edit the entire frickin' draft class because I've only got like 6 players done. So that's going to be a doozy for me, but we'll talk about what we do coming up.